Hi guys, welcome back to the Sorry Girls. My name is Rochelle and we are about to make something pretty cool. If you've caught my last couple of videos, then you know that I love IKEA, but I also love adding on to IKEA pieces to give them a little bit more function and personality. And today is no different. In fact, we are going to be jazzing up this very desk that I'm sitting at. This is the Bolsidan electric sit-stand desk that I picked up from IKEA. Now, it only came out in 2024, but I think I could see this piece sticking around IKEA's catalog for a while to come. This desk is compact and it raises and lowers nice and smooth, and honestly, it's pretty inoffensive to look at, so it's kind of a perfect choice for small spaces. But we can make it cuter, so we're gonna make it cuter. So here's what I'm thinking. This desk kind of looks like every other sit-stand desk that's out there in the market, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I was searching online and I saw this desk. It's called the Baggio from Hulala Home, and I kind of just fell in love with the look of it. So I'm hoping that I can make this desk look and function a little bit more like that one. And if we look back, the Athena desk by Rove Concepts was one of the major inspirations for the kitchen island that I made for our organic modern makeover that we did, and I still really like the look of it, but it doesn't have any storage. What the hell just fell out of the desk? Okay. Oh my God. Their Eric desk, however, does have storage built into the legs, and here's the thing. It's actually the same desk, just with different leg sleeves. So I want to build two leg sleeves that are just a little bit bigger than the legs themselves, because we don't want to mess with the compact footprint that we've already got. I would love it if we could do a gentle curve to the back and some doors for hidden storage, just like our inspiration desks. And while we're warming this whole thing up with wood, I would love to make a wood top too. And since we're making sleeves anyways, why not make the whole thing removable from this desk so we can put it back to the way it was, if ever that's what we want to do. But to do all of that, I am gonna need some wood, so. To the store! First stop, Home Depot, where I picked up a sheet of 1/2-inch birch plywood. I really like the cool grain pattern I get from this plywood, and it's relatively inexpensive. Also, people, get your sheets cut down at the hardware store. It makes it so much easier to transport home. Then I'm off to Rona Plus for a 3/4-inch sheet of birch plywood because of course one store doesn't sell both. Honestly, if anybody has any tips on how to get a 3/4-inch piece of plywood into a cart by yourself, please let me know, please. So while my plan is to curve the legs, you absolutely do not have to. You could do a nice butt joint or a miter joint and save all of the work I'm about to do. You know, if you want curved legs, come with me on this journey. Okay, am I allowed to do like a sorry lessons or lessons learned? I feel like I've got one of those. So because I wanted to do curved legs, I once again went to the website blocklayer.com. I cannot stop talking about it because I cannot stop using it because math and I are not really friends. So this website makes it super easy to put in all of your known variables and then it spits out where it is you're supposed to actually make your cuts. And I made my cuts on the circular saw, and it just wasn't getting to that 90 degrees that I was hoping for. And after doing a bunch of calculations and miscalculations and not really understanding, I finally got it. It's because the original one was done with my table saw, and the blade on that is about 1/32 of an inch thicker than the blade on my little circular saw. So when I went in and I put in the thinner blade, it gave me more cuts to make with different spacing, and we ended up with our 90 degrees. So that's just a little tidbit for you. If you're gonna do curve cutting, make sure you know the thickness of your blade because it does, in fact, affect the math. Okay, moving on. Okay, so I've cut every piece that I want to do my curve cutting on down to size. I think I'm ready to actually do my curve cutting. So I got my little screenshot from blocklayer.com with the original measurements because we are going to use the table saw, get it done a little bit quicker. You could do this with the circular saw, absolutely. When it comes to curve cutting, I like to run a test piece through first for each new cut to make sure I have the right distance set with the fence. Then I can run all my actual pieces through with confidence. Okay, so we have all of our kerf cuts in all of our wood, but even so, it's resistant. It doesn't necessarily want to bend very much right now. So I used this handy dandy steamer that I almost never use for clothes. By steaming the outer layer of the plywood and inside the grooves, it's going to soften it enough to hopefully make it easier to bend. Come on, man, bend. Please don't crack, please don't crack, please don't crack. Please, 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 don't prove them right. One. Ah! Yeah, we're gonna let it dry in this position before we even attempt to put in glue. Hoping those curves turn out like they should has definitely got me a little bit stressed out, and all the sawdust I created while making them, well, that's definitely got my skin a little stressed too. But you know what can help reduce stress? Knowing that you got a great price on your skincare by grabbing an amazing Black Friday deal from Foreo Sweden, the sponsor of today's video. It's been over a month now since I first used the FAQ 202. You remember, the new generation LED face mask made with a unique FlexiFit silicone that molds to fit any face shape for even light coverage. What do you guys think? My skin's looking pretty good, right? But I want to take my skincare a step further by pairing the mask with Foreo's new Red Light Peptide Serum, which is formulated to help amplify and accelerate the LED therapy. Speaking of the light treatment, I get to choose from 8 different wavelengths, including NIR, to tackle signs of aging and other skin concerns. And you guys might know this about me, my favorite color is purple, but I'm not looking to target any hyperpigmentation at the moment. We could go with yellow to help reduce redness, orange to help smooth my skin, or green to help brighten dull skin and even skin tone. But since I really put my skin through it today with the sawdust and the sweat, I think I'm gonna go with the near infrared, which can help to accelerate the repair of damaged skin cells by boosting my skin's natural processes. If you'd like to check out Foreo's amazing Black Friday deals, click in the description box and don't forget to use the code TSG35 for an additional 35% off on almost all Foreo products, even the ones that are on sale. That means you can get up to 50% off on Foreo products. Oh, and if you didn't know, the FAQ 202 is ultra lightweight and wireless, meaning I can keep my skincare going while I go get a snack. See ya! Okay, so I've had this unglued piece of wood drying in these clamps for just over an hour, and I'm hopeful that that means that I can take the clamps off, add my glue, and re-clamp it, and it will not be nearly as tough to bend it into this shape. That is the hope. I'm nervous. I have my 2 leg corners gluing up here. Now, everything I read said leave them in the clamps for like 24 hours. I don't have that kind of time, so I'm definitely gonna leave them overnight to glue up. I have seen people do kerf cutting where they actually fill the kerfs with like Gorilla Glue, polyurethane glue, and that's something that reacts with water and it expands, so that's probably a great idea for these. I don't have that today, so wood glue it is, and we cross our fingers. Wood glue and hope. That's what we're putting these together with. I'm gonna leave those overnight and I will see you tomorrow. Good morning, guys. It is in fact not tomorrow, it is the day after tomorrow because I decided to go ahead and glue up my other 2 leg corners so that they are all ready to work with today. So we've got our 4 leg corners, meaning that we need a back and a front to turn this into actual leg sleeves. So we're gonna address the back first. 1, because I think that's the easier part of it, and 2, because that part's actually going to be fixed to these corners. So we're gonna get that out of the way, and then we're gonna move on to the front, and then they're gonna actually start looking like leg sleeves, hopefully. What is that? What are those? Okay, so the idea is that we've got 1 leg corner, and we just need to cut a piece of wood that's going to bridge the gap between the 2 of them. So it sounds easy enough. I just need to cut a piece that is as wide as the gap is, and I think I'm gonna use pocket screws to attach that piece to my 2 corners and then do that all over again for the other leg sleeve on the other side. You guys, it is far from pretty, but it is curved. Look at that. Okay, but like, don't really look at the inside, but nah. Curve. We're gonna make it a whole lot prettier, but it's standing and it's curved, so we take our wins where we can get them. Don't look too close, though. Sinners and the saints, it takes and it takes and it takes. At least I'm flying free. In me, within these walls. Runaways or running the nights is the greatest show. Next, I need to make the shelves that will go inside of the legs. I'm using some offcuts from the plywood to create support pieces that the shelves will sit on, and then using the curved legs as a template to create the shape for these shelf pieces. Remember, I want these leg sleeves to be removable, so that means that these shelves need to be removable too, so the sleeve can get on and off. So I'm finding the middle of each of the shelves and creating a leg-shaped hole so that it can fit perfectly around the legs of the desk. The bottom shelf is going to hide the foot of the desk from the inside, and then the top piece is going to be the lid to our sleeves. To make them removable, I'm using these roller catches that are often used to hold cabinet doors closed. Then a middle shelf for added storage. I actually ended up cutting off the leg-shaped hole part on my middle and bottom legs just so everything would fit together a little bit easier. And now, repeat for the other sleeve. We are gonna do some doors, Woo! Okay, guys, good morning. Good afternoon? Yeah, no, I don't know what time of day it is, but I do know what time of the project it is, and it is door time. Because in order for us to have hidden storage, our storage needs to be hidden. So that is why I made all of these shelves inset 3/4 of an inch from the front of the curve, because we're gonna make a little frame with our doors that sits right in that gap. So the opening on my leg sleeves for the door is roughly 29 inches wide by something like 24 inches high. Okay, so I've got some pieces cut out for the frame part of the doors, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do pocket holes and screw them together so we can see if our theory actually functions in reality. Okay, so we've got our frame put together, and it's kind of a snug fit, but you know, if you push on one side, it kind of pops out. We don't want that happening. So I thought I would use these same roller catches to just put on the inside of the sleeve, and that will hopefully keep the frame in place. Like, that's pretty good. But what is a problem is that. So we're gonna solve that by putting some supporting pieces on the back side of our frame so that these stop falling out. All right, we got 2 sleeves. I'm just gonna finish off my day with another quick stop at the hardware store to grab some other materials to finish these sleeves. So I actually ended up ordering 2 different kinds of concealed pivot hinges. One being what I think is called a straight knife pivot hinge. So that's one where the door sits on top of this, and then this sits in the frame with a little hole, and that allows the door to pivot in and out. So you don't really see it on either side of the door, front or back, but you do see kind of a sizable gap at the bottom. And then the other ones, which I don't know the specific name of these ones, because when I ordered them, they were listed as iron pivot hinge, concealed shaft, cabinet door, pivot hinges, cabinet wood door hinges with pin door hinges with bushing for free swinging wood door. Maybe if you search any one of those keywords, something like this will come up. But the idea of this one is there's still a hole in the base of your frame, but then your door goes in front of this little bracket and it gets screwed into the back. So when the door is open, you do see this bracket, but I think I'm gonna go with these ones anyways because they seem to be a little bit easier of an install for me Not easy, but easier. But first, I'm adding edge banding to the exposed plywood edges. Right? Okay, that's fantastic, but did I remember to edge band the inside of the frame where I actually drilled the hole? No, because drilling the hole in the door really threw me off. But that's okay. We're gonna do that now and remember to do it for all the rest of them. Oh my gosh. As with all of my DIYs, please do not look too closely. But if you're looking from afar, guys, I have 2 leg sleeves with functioning doors. That's incredible. But because these legs are starting to look so beautiful and warm with their curves and their wood, this top is just, this is not looking cute. So we need to address this somehow, and I've got some wood in my car, I think, to deal with that. Let's go get it. So I had to get the 4-foot by 8-foot piece of plywood cut down at the store to 30 inches wide, which is the maximum width that will fit in my car. And unfortunately, I found out later that the width is just a bit too narrow for our eventual desktop. I actually have a spare piece of 1/2-inch birch plywood in my stash, so I'm going to cut 2 narrow strips that I can add to each side of the tabletop to make it the right width. And my hope is adding it to both sides will make it feel more intentional. Please work. So I had already done my kerf cuts for the corner pieces of the desktop when I did them for the legs, but this happened to one of my pieces when I tried to glue it up. Are you
kidding me?
Not today. Past Rochelle is going to fix this curved piece of plywood because she absolutely does not wish to bend another piece of wood right now. This isn't why she bought this veneer, but I guess now's as good a time as any to crack it open. No, don't even mention cracking. She's scraping off the broken veneer, sanding it down, and covering it in glue. Then she can add a new piece of veneer and use like half of her tape supply trying to keep them together while the glue dries. She thinks she's so smart putting tape down to protect the wood from glue squeeze out, but I have to admit, sometimes she knows what she's doing. She even thought to add these mending plates for some extra support, knowing those extra strips were going to overhang the original desktop. Thankfully, she can't get rid of anything in the workshop, so she had all these tiny little screws just laying around. For the apron of the tabletop, this is going to help cover the edge of the original desktop, hide the sit-stand mechanics underneath, and make the tabletop look thick. I can't. Thick. There needs to be an opening in the apron so she can still access the up and down controls of the desk. So of course, she made a prototype. Basically, in the front apron piece, she's gonna cut a little door so it can swing open. Smart girl. And then she's using some spring-loaded repair pins for louvered shutters to act as a pivot for this little door. She's a genius. Apparently, she learned her lesson here and covered these pieces in edge banding before assembling. Then drilled some holes for the hardware to sit in and the corresponding holes in the apron pieces. And then, with a magnetic closure that the little hardware gremlin already had, the door was complete. But she's gonna need to make the apron before she can trust that it'll actually function as a door. So she's attaching all the apron pieces together using pocket screws, and then using these corner braces to attach the apron to the desktop. Guess how many of them she already had? Yes, all of them. Now, with everything attached, she can add in the little door to see this thing in action. Okay, now it's time to trim the desktop piece. Using the apron as a template to cut the rough shape with her favorite, the jigsaw, and then using the router with a pattern bit to get the shape perfect. Because Rochelle, jigsaw, and precision are 3 words that don't really go together. She's covering the raw edge in some edge banding, burning her hand in the process because she didn't wear her gloves this time. She found this edge band trimmer that she actually kind of likes, so she told me to link that one in the description box for you. The little smarty also picked up some shelf liner to put on the original desktop so her desktop sleeve doesn't slide around and scratch it up underneath. Then she finished off the day adding the rest of the edge banding to the exposed edges of the leg sleeves. Covering the curved corners is actually why she bought the veneer, and this seemed to work pretty well to hide those raw edges. But she said you could just Tetris together many small pieces of the edge banding if you didn't want to buy another product. You guys, we are so close to being finished this thing. We put in so much work and we are definitely in the home stretch. There are just a couple of things that I want to do to finish up the construction of this. Then we are on to sanding, staining, making it look beautiful. Well, more beautiful than it already is because it's pretty freaking stunning at this point. So I think I just gotta jump in, get to work, power through. And in case you haven't noticed, my voice is back. So best believe there will be singing. So we are back here under the desk, and as you can see, we have these lovely doors, but they in no way stay closed, and they also push in too far, so we need to find a way to stop that from happening. I toyed around with the idea of using the push to open hardware, but it just kind of felt like a little bit too much for these doors, especially because we've made this whole thing kind of come apart, so there's not like a great solid piece to attach them to. So I think what we're gonna do is along the lines of the IKEA Billy bookcase folding table hack that I did, where we just use some simple button magnets to hold it closed. So like they're strong, but they're not like super strong. So I think we're actually just gonna be able to push on the door itself to have it open. That is the plan. Wish me luck, you guys. I need this to work. The double magnets ended up being a little bit too strong of a hold here, so I am switching the magnet on the door for a tiny little screw, and I think this will work better. So we have our doors magnetized with a little push on the side that will open them, but just enough magnetic force to hold them closed through a minor seismic event. So the last major issue I see with this is that the power cord for the desk comes out of the underside of the tabletop, and then it just kind of dangles to your outlet, which isn't the cutest look. So I was thinking I could get the power cord into one of our leg sleeves somehow, and that's gonna start with running it along the underside of the tabletop and down the leg. I'm gonna try to do that with the command strip light clips that are meant to hold up the light cords. And I'm hoping that that will give us the stability we need to hold this in place as the desk goes up and down. So I have a hole cut into these curved bits for the leg, but I don't know if it's big enough for this cord to go down there as well. And that's what I think needs to happen so that this cord goes down inside the leg. Okay, so we might need to cut this hole a little bit bigger. I don't know what that looks like. But it's funny. Hey, look at that. I like it. And then I'm adding a power bar to the inside of one of the leg sleeves, so this white extension cord coming out of the back of the leg is the only wire you see. Now I can move on to sanding and staining. After sanding everything down, I'm using 2 coats of the stain Early American on the outside of the desk. Then for the inside of the legs, I'm going to paint it to cover all the slightly more rough and gluey areas. Weirdly, I chose this color Circus Peanut as a corresponding brown tone, even though I am allergic to peanuts. But you could use whatever color you'd like. Oh my gosh, you guys, that was so much more work than I thought it was going to be. If I have a piece of advice for you guys out there, unless your heart is like set on the curved legs, please, 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 for your own sanity, just make them rectangular. It's gonna look just as good, and you know, it's gonna take you half the time and half the headaches, but I have to say, if this thing looks half as stunning here in place, styled up as I think it's going to, then maybe, just maybe, it will all have been worth it. I'm excited to see it. We just got to put it together, right? Oh my God, let's do it. Okay, so we got our desk put together. That's it for today's video. And what's that? Oh, you want me to style it. Okay, why didn't you say so? You guys, we did it. We took a functional but a little bit boring IKEA sit-stand desk and turned it into something even more functional and beautiful. I think it rivals those standing desks that cost over $1,000. What do you guys think? I'm thrilled that I was able to jazz it up without altering the desk itself. Thank you so much for watching the video. I had a great time putting this together, and if you enjoyed watching it, feel free to check out some of my other IKEA hack videos. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!